Hello everyone. Our today's concept is support vector missions. It is the first topic in Unit 6. What is SVM? SVM is a support vector missions. It is a one of the supervised learning algorithm. What it is? It is a one of the supervised learning algorithm which is widely used as a classification algorithm. So support vector missions are the are used for are used as the classification algorithm, and SVM is applicable for the data that are linearly separable, which means this SVM is used, okay, is used to classify the binary data, which means which data has only two patterns. It can be separate those data by using a single hyperline, right? Okay, it is one of the model, one of the model or classifier to identify the binary classification classes. Clear? So, but until now we have learned many binary classification techniques in artificial neural networks, isn't it? Coming to the fourth unit, sorry, in third unit, we have learned single layer perceptron. So the single layer perceptron is used uh, used for binary classification purpose only. Not only that, okay, multi-layer perceptron is used for no, I mean classify more than two patterns. If we have more than two patterns, then by using multi-layer perceptron, we can separate that. Okay, or if you want to separate the data point by using by drawing a non-linear separability, then you can use the multi-layer perceptron. And coming to the RBF networks, radial basis forward networks. So in radial basis forward networks also, those that concept also is used for the binary classification purpose only. Okay, by using a single hyperline, it can be separate two patterns. Okay, it can be separated two patterns or two classes, isn't it? But now SVM is also used for the same purpose. SVM is also one of the classifier. By using this SVM, here we are going to separate the, okay, separate the data into two classes, isn't it? So what is the difference between uh, those methods and SVM? Okay, so now we would learn the difference between those methods and SVM. Let us go for the next points. Then you would get the clear explanation about the importance of SVM, then single layer perceptron, and also RBFN, right? Okay, first of all, and this as for if you have a non-linear data, then by using a kernel function, you can separate the data into number of classes, right? And coming to third point, SVM classifies the, so what is SVM? Classifies the two classes using a hyperplane. This hyperplane should have the largest margin in a high dimensional space to separate the given data into two classes. So whatever the data we have produced, we have supplied to this model. Okay, that model can be separate the data into two classes by drawing a largest margin in between or largest hyperplane in between those data points, right? If you see, the margin between two classes represents, say, the longest distance between closest data points of those classes. The margin between the two classes represents the longest. What is the margin in between the given data points? Now we are going to know the margin between the two classes. It represents the longest distance between the closest data points of the classes. What it means, I'll show you. Okay. For example, now this is the example you have. In this example, I have taken 2D space. Okay, this is my 2D space area. One is x-axis and one is y-axis. Here I have two classes of data. Okay, what is the class one? Class one, assume the class one is minus symbols and the second class is plus symbol. Okay, what is my, these are the two patterns which I have supplied to this support vector machine. What is the first pattern? First pattern is minus and second pattern is plus. Or this is class one, you may call this is class one or this is class two. Okay, I have supplied two classes data and I have represented two classes data in this 2D space, right? These two classes data can be divided by using a hyperline. Assume this is the hyperline. Okay, by drawing this single hyperline, we can separate the data points into two classes, class 1 and class 2. Okay, classes and class 2 here, right? And if you see this diagram, this kind of hyperplane can be used in single layer perceptron as well as it may be in RBF networks also. Okay, you can draw this line anywhere, which means you can draw this line at this point or at this position or at this place. Anywhere you can draw this line, and by drawing a single line, you can be separated these two classes, isn't it? So you may okay, within this area you can draw anywhere this hyperline to separate the given data points, right? So now coming to this, after drawing one hyperline in between the two classes, here I have drawn the border lines of the data points. Okay, this is one border line and this is second border line. Okay, that is one and this is one. Okay, so which points are within the border lines? Those points are called the support vectors. Those points are called the support vectors. Here this is the plus and here this is the minus. From this class 1, this point is a support vector. Okay, from class 2, this point is a support vector. Why? Because okay, what is the, I have taken I have drawn some margins. Which one? The last point of class 1 and the last point of class 2 towards the hyperline. Towards the hyperline. If it is one support vector, suppose if you may have two number of points, data points, then these 2 plus points, okay, are the support vectors here. Okay, then if you'll observe this diagram, it has some input vector x bar. This is the input vector line x bar, and this is weight vector line w bar. Weight vector, okay, input vector, weight vector, and this is the hyperplane. In between the margin lines, the distance between these margin lines would be represented by using m. Okay. So in above figure, we have a hyperplane which divides the two classes, positive and negative. Here we have taken two classes, one is negative and one is positive, by drawing a single hyperline, which means this dotted line, right? This dotted line, we have a hyperplane which divides the two classes, and the data points that lies on the decision boundaries are called the support vectors. Okay, so the data points that are lies on the, this is decision boundary 1, this is decision boundary 2. Okay, this is decision boundary 1, this is decision boundary 2. So which data points? The data points lies on these decision boundaries are called the support vectors. Okay, and the margin m should be as high as possible. Okay, so here we have one margin. This margin is in between two decision boundaries. For only SVM, we can draw these decision boundaries, which shows the difference. Okay, how much space is there, how much difference is there in between two classes, we can identify by drawing this decision boundaries in support vector missions. This kind of facility is not available in single layer perceptron as well as in RBF networks. Okay, so here in support vector missions only we have one facility. Here we have drawn the margin boundaries, decision boundaries. The decision boundary shows the, okay, difference, shows the difference between these two classes. How much difference is there in between these two classes? If the margin is more, then there is a lot of gap is there between two classes. If it is very less, so there is the okay, less space is there in between these 2 points, like that we can assess. And also based on this we can draw a optimal hyperlane based on the margin. Okay, based on the distance between these two classes, we can draw a optimal hyperplane exactly middle, we can take this hyperline. Okay, not this side, not that side. Okay, if it is a normal if it is a if it is a single layer perceptron, you can take the hyperline here automatically. It can separate these two classes, or you can draw a hyperline like here also. But these hyperlines are not optimal hyperlines. Okay, by drawing these lines, you can separate the data points into two classes. Up to this, it's okay. But if you talk about the optimality of a hyperline, okay, the optimality of a hyperline, which means it would be divided the data points, okay, exactly center of the margin, means then that would call as a optimal hyperline, right? So, but drawing a hyperline in between two classes, optimal hyperline between two classes, here we are going to use the SVM concept. Okay, to find the optimal hyperline between, to draw the optimal hyperline between the given data points. That is the difference between, that is the main advantage of the SVM than the single layer perceptron and RDF networks and other classification techniques. Okay, it would find the difference between the, what is the marginal difference between the two classes of data. Okay. So which data points are lies on a decision boundaries? Those data points are called the support vectors. Okay. Next, coming to the support vectors on a decision boundary. The support vectors on a decision boundary should be closer to the hyperline. Okay. So these are the what support vectors. These support vectors are closer to the hyperline. This is the dotted line represents the hyperline, right? So these two are the very close to the hyperline. Let us see now. Let us see how the SVM works in case of classifying a new test input. Okay, now we are going to see the working of a SVM. If you will get a new data point, okay, to this machine, right? So for that, okay, for that, first of all, we would consider the input vector x bar and the corresponding weights w bar. Okay, this is the input vector line. Okay, this is the weight vector. Okay, x bar and w bar. The x bar is represented the x1, x2, xn. These are the input nodes. W bar is the corresponding weights of the input nodes, right? The input, the new input, that is assume x test, the new input x test is projected on weight vector w bar. Okay, if a new input is has been given, that new input is called x test. Assume this is called x test. Then if it is projected on weight vector w bar, then what we have to do? Then note that w bar is a perpendicular hyperplane. W bar is perpendicular to hyperplane. Yes, it is always perpendicular to hyperplane. See, this is the hyperplane this is the hyperplane line. This is the hyperplane line. So this W bar is perpendicular to this hyperplane, isn't it? So Okay, right? So no W bar is perpendicular to hyperplane. Whenever the input is projected on W bar, then the result is projected on a distance B from that point. Okay, whenever the given input is projected on W bar, then the result is projected a distance B from that point. What is B here? B is a bias with constant value. Okay, here we have taken the weight and the bias. By calculating the weight input the given input x test, and with that weight and bias value, by taking these three we can be calculated the value. Okay, so that value is crosses the positive decision boundary, then the test instance x test belongs to positive. Okay, by taking the input x test value as well as some weight of that x test value, and by using a bias here uh, we can get some kind of value, right? If that value crosses the positive decision boundary, if that value crosses the positive decision boundary, then the test instance x test, which means the new input x test belongs to positive class, otherwise it belongs to negative class. Like this we can identify the given input data point, identifying, and we are going to add to that particular class here. Okay, by taking the values of these three we would calculate that we would calculate that value. If that result is if the result is crosses the positive decision boundary, then it is a positive class. If not, it is a negative class. Like this we can identify the given data point is belongs to which class. Clear? And coming to the mathematical, now let us see how mathematically it is represented, how the new data point is represented in mathematically. Now we are going to see, right? So weight vector into x bar plus b greater than or equal to 1. I have already told you now. So with the weight vector and the given input value plus by taking the bias, if it cross the given boundary value, it may be coming under positive class. Otherwise, it would be coming under negative class, isn't it? So how it would represented mathematically, we'll see step by step. Okay. The weight vector into x bar plus b is greater than or equal to 1, that would be represented as positive class, and weight vector into x bar plus b is less than or equal to -1, the value will be the less than or equal to -1, then that particular data point is belongs to a pattern, is belongs to a what negative class. Here we have two classes, right? Positive class and negative class. So these are the these are the values, target values. If it is crossed this one, and that would be represented as positive class. If it is less than or equal to -1, that would be represented as a negative class here, right? Where b is a constant distance, where b is a constant distance. Here we have considered one more what one more parameter, that is yi. Yi is the output. yi is the output. Okay, b is a constant distance and yi is the output. That is yi equal to the output value equal to +1. If the output value equal to the output of that network is +1, when it would be +1, automatically if the output is +1, then it would be represented as a positive sample or positive class. Okay, otherwise if the output value is -1, then it would be represented as a negative sample, isn't it? So after calculating the total network by doing all these okay calculations, by applying, by substituting the values, if it is greater than or equal to 1, then it is a positive class. Otherwise you can see like this also. If the output of this network is +1, that is a positive sample. Otherwise that is a negative samples here. Okay, right. For the samples that lies on a decision boundary, that is support vectors, the equation is, this is the equation for support vectors. Support vectors, which samples are lies on a decision boundary. Okay, so that is yi into w vector into x vector plus b minus 1 greater than or equal to 0. This is the equation for support vectors, right? Let us calculate the width, that is the distance of hyperplane from the decision boundary. Now we are going to calculate the width. What is the width? Width is a distance between decision boundary and a hyperplane. W, see here, this is the W is there now. So this is the W. What is this? It is a distance between hyperplane and a decision boundary. Now we need to calculate the width. Let us calculate the width. For that, here we have, for calculating the width, the formula is width equal to x plus minus x minus x plus minus x minus. What is x plus? This is the x plus. Okay, here x plus is positive class or positive data points, and x minus is negative data points. So first of all, you need to calculate x plus minus x minus, then weight vector by norms of weight vector, weight vector by norms of weight vector. This is the formula for calculation of width here. Okay, and the support vectors formula, this is the support vector equation, right? yi into weight vector into input vector plus b minus 1 equal to 0. This is the formula which we have seen earlier for support vector equation, right? So if you substitute the values for yi, okay, yi is +1 and yi is -1. yi is +1 for x positive, yi is -1 for x negative. Okay, x negative is negative classes, x positive is positive classes. Okay, here we have divided into two classes, right? So for that, so from the equation 1, so substitute 1, okay, as yi place. First of all, you can represent +1 into weight vector into x plus b equal to b minus 1 equal to 0, then you may write like this. You may write like this. 1 into w bar, 1 into w vector only into x plus b minus 1. Later, you can be represented x plus equal to 1 minus b by, okay, weight vector. 1 minus b by weight vector. This is the formula for x plus. Okay, x plus equal to 1 minus bias by, okay, weight vector. Here, x bar is represented by using, okay, x plus and x minus. X plus and x minus. Like this, here we need to calculate, substitute the minus 1 in this formula. Okay, minus 1 in this formula. Let us see that one also. Right. So yi is minus 1 into weight vector into x minus plus b minus 1 equal to 0. Okay, this can be written like this. Minus weight vector into x minus b equal to 1. Again, that would be written into x minus equal to minus 1 plus b by weight vector. Okay, this is the x minus value. X plus, we have calculated x plus as well as x minus. Then now, so we should substitute the x plus value and x minus value, okay, in width formula. Okay, this is the width formula as we see in earlier, right? What is the width formula here? X plus minus x minus into w bar, vector of w by norms of weight vector, right? So already we have calculated x plus value, x plus formula. Here we have the values, formulas for x plus and x minus, right? You should substitute these. Okay, x plus and x minus with the above equations. So x plus equal to 1 minus b by weight vector minus x minus equal to, this is the x minus value, x minus equal to the same minus of 1 plus b by weight vector into this one, double weight vector by norms of weight vector. Okay, this is substituted in width formula, width equation. Then after substituting that, then you will get 1 minus b by weight vector plus 1 plus b by weight vector into weight vector by norms of weight vector. Finally, you can be calculated like this: 2 by weight vector into weight vector by norms of weight vector. Weight vector is cancelled. So the finally you will get the result of 2 by weight vector, norms of weight vector. This is the width W value. What is the width W value? Equation for width? Width equation is 2 by norms of weight vector. Okay, this is the calculated width. Then okay, then this width needs to be maximized. If we want to maximize this width, then you can write like this: max into 2 by norms of W bar. I mean the norm 2 by norms of W vector. Okay, or it is equivalent to 1/2 norms of W whole square. W whole square. This is the width, whichever we have calculated. Now, okay, now calculate the weight vector. Weight vector is, see, this is the weight vector, right? So what is the formula for weight vector? You can substitute this formula for weight vector. Weight vector equal to sigma alpha I into yi into xi bar. Okay, finally, the weight vector is a optimal value. Okay, weight vector is represented as a optimal value such that the margin is separated. The margin is separated to move between two classes. Okay, you have drawn, I mean, you have a margin. That margin is separated to move between two classes is found. Right? Like this, we can be separated the given data point into, I mean, like this you can find out the given data point is belonging to which class, either class 1 or class 2. Okay, by knowing the distance between the hyperplane and decision boundary. Okay, and with that, here finally that width is the value for that width is 2 by norms of weight vector. The weight vector is represented by using this formula. Okay, by this we can draw a margin between two classes. Then we can find the draw a margin in between two classes, right? Then this is the it would give the optimal hyperplane in between the two classes, right? This is about SVM, so support vector mission. Thank you.